Say, what is Horatio there?
A piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome to Marcellus.
Has this thing appeared again tonight?
I've seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy.
Tush, tush, 'twill not appear.
Sit down a while. Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made his course to loom that part of heaven where now it burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell been beating one.
Wait, where's the off? Look where it comes again!
And that same figure like the king that's dead.
Now what a scholar! Speak to it, Horatio!
Looks it not like the king? Mark it, Horatio!
Most like it.
Question it, Horatio!
To be spoke to.
What art thou that usurp this time of night, together in that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of our buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak! Stay! Speak! Speak! I charge thee, speak!
How now, Horatio? Is this not something more than fantasy?
Before my God, I might not disbelieve that the sensible and true vouch of mine own eyes.
Is it not like the king?
As thou art to thyself. Such was the very armour he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated. So frowned he once when in an angry parley he smote the studied Polacks on the ice. Oh, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Good. Now sit down and tell me he that knows why the same strict and most observant watch from nightly toils the subject of the land, and why such daily cast of brazen cannon and foreign march for implements of war.
Our last king, whose image even now but appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway dead in the combat, in which our valiant Hamlet did slay this Fortinbras. Now, sir, young Fortinbras, of unimproved metal, hot and full, hacked in the skirts of Norway here and there, has shot up a list of lawless regiments, but to recover of us, by strong hand and terms compulsory, these foresaid lands so as far lost. And this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparation, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste and run into the land. Oh, but Saul's here it comes again. I'll cross it, though it blast me. Stay, illusion. If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. Oh, speak to me. If thou art privy to our country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh, speak. Stay and speak.
Shall I strike at? 'Tis gone.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And then it started like a guilty thing upon a fearful summons. Break me up our watch, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit, dumb to us, shall speak to him.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory yet be green, and that it us be fitted to bear our hearts in grief, indeed our entire kingdom to be contracted with one brow of woe. But hath discretion ever thought with nature, that we in our wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth in funeral and a dirge in marriage, weighing in equal scale dole and delight, taken to wife. For all our thanks. Now follows that you know, young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father to our most valiant brother. So much for him. We have here writ to Norway the uncle of young Fortinbras to suppress his further gait therein. Now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You spoke of some suit. What is it, Laertes? Is not the head more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than thy father is to the throne of Denmark? Come, what wouldst thou have?
My dread lord, your leave in favor to return to France, from though whence willingly I came to Denmark, to show my duty in your coronation.
But what says Polonius? Have you your father's leave?
Well, he hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laborsome petition, and I have sealed my heart consent. I beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes, time be thine. And how does my cousin Hamlet, and my son?
A little more than king, and less than kind.
How is it that this cloud still hangs on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy lighted color off, and let thine eye shine like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest his karma. All that lives must die, passing from nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is come.
If it be, why seems it so particularly?
Seems, madam. No, nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak and the customary suits of solemn black, or the windy suspiration of forced breath, or the tearful river in my eye, for these are actions that a man might play. But I have this, within which passeth show, these are but the trappings, the suits of war.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nation, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know that your father lost a father. That father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to sever in a course of obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven. Cast to the earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as a father. And let the world take note that you are most immediate to our throne, and we do with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son who I impart toward you. As for your intent to go back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire. Stay here, in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, dear Hamlet. I pray thee, Stay with us. Go not to
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
'Tis a fair and honest reply. Be as yourself in Denmark. Madam.
Oh, that this too solid flesh should melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Oh, that the everlasting had not fixed its cannon against self-slaughter. God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fine. 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess of him. That it should come to this. 2 months dead. Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was. To this, Hyperion to a savior. So loving to my mother that he would not beseem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth, must I think on? She would hang on him, as if an increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on. And yet within a month, frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, or ere those shoes with old like she followed my poor father's body like Niobe all tears, and she, God, a beast that wants discourse of reason would have known longer. Married with my uncle, my father's brother, yet no more like my father than I took Hercules. Within a month! In air, the salt from such unrighteous tears and at the flushing of her galled eyes, she marries. O most wicked speed, host with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good. But break my heart. I must hold my tongue. Hail to your lordship! Oh, Horatio! Oh, my good dear friend. Oh, it is good to see you well, or I do forget myself.
The same lord and your poor servant ever.
Oh, I would trade that name with you. But what bring you from Wittenberg?
A truant disposition, good my lord.
I would not hear your enemies say so. But what brings you to Elsinore? We will teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
Do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord. It followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did furnish forth the marriage tables. Though ere I'd see my dearest foe in heaven and seen that day, Horatio. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
Oh. I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw? Who?
My lord, the king, your father.
The king? My father?
2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch in the dead waste in the middle of the night, been thus encountered. A figure like your father appears before them, and with solemn march goes slow and stately by them, while stage is still to almost gently with the act of fear stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in dreadful secrecy impart they did, and I with them the 3rd night kept the watch. whereas they had delivered both in time, formed the thing, each word made true and good. The apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
And did you not speak to him?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once methought it lifted up its head, and did address itself to motion like as it would speak. But even then the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk away in haste, and vanished from our sight.
And saw you not its face?
Oh, yes, my lord.
And looked upon you frowning?
Countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
And fixed its eyes upon you?
Oh, most constantly.
I would that I had been there.
It would have much amazed you.
I will watch tonight. Perchance we'll walk again.
I warrant it will.
And if it achieve my father's shape, then I will speak to it. Though hell itself may gate me, bid my peace. On the platform, betwixt 11 and 12, I will visit you.
My duty to your honor.
And my love to yours as well. Farewell. My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. I doubt some foul play, but toward the night will come. Till then, sit still my heart. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell, sister. Do not sleep. Let me hear from you.
Do you doubt it?
And as for Hamlet, and the trifling of his favor, hold in fashion, the perfume and supplements of a minute, no more.
No more but so?
You must think it no more, but you must fear it. Let his greatness wane, his will is not his own, for he is subject to his birth. His choice depends upon the health and safety of this whole state. Therefore, his choice must be circumscribed to the voice and yielding of the body, whereof he is the head. Then think what loss your honor may sustain. Fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, dear sister, and hold you in the rear of your affection, out of shot, danger, desire.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart.
But when I stay too long, here comes my father. A double blessing is a double grace. He smiles upon his second leave.
Yeah, here they are, geez. Aboard for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for. My blessing to you. And to these few precepts in thy memory, see thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. But no means vulgar. How friends thou hast in their adoption tried, grappled into thy soul with hoops of steel. Beware of victims who borrow, huh? Being in spirit that we oppose, may beware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as by first and by, but not expressed in fancy. Rich, but not naughty. For the apparel oft proclaims the man. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. Because loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. And this above all, to thine own self be true. And it must follow as the night of the day, thou then canst not be false to any man. Farewell. My blessing sees in this indeed.
My humble lord, I do but take my leave. Dear sister, farewell, Ophelia. Remember what it is that I say to you.
Is in my memory locked.
said you.
So please you something touching Lord Hamlet?
He said to me that he has very often spent private time with you, and that you yourself, of your audience, have been most free and boundless. What's between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of affection to me.
Affection? What do you call it? You believe these tenders, as he calls them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Oh, Mary, I'll teach you. Think yourself a baby, that you should take these tenders as true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly, or you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love and honorable fashion,
Fashion, you call it? Go to.
and hath given countenance to his speech with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Spring to catch woodcocks. I do know when the blood burns how prodigal the soul gives the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, giving more light than heat, you must not take for fire. I would say that from this time forward, you must not have any words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. See to it. Mark your way.
I shall obey, my lord!
It is very cold. What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it has struck.
Indeed? I heard it not. What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wake tonight, takes his rouse, keeps wassail, and the swaggering uprising reels. And as he drinks his draughts of Rhenish down, the trumpet and kettle drum cry out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
Aye, there it is. But since I am native here to the manor born, 'tis honored more in the breach than its observance. This heavy-headed rebel here, east and west, has its traduced and taxed above the nation. They clep us drunkards, and with swinish phrase soil our edition, and thus it takes away from our achievements. However, performed at height is the very pith and marrow of our attributes.
Look, Lord, it comes.
Heavens and ministers of grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of health, or goblin damned. Bring with thee airs of heaven, or blasts from hell. Are thy intents wicked, or charitable? If thou comes in such a questionable shape, I shall call thee Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dane. Oh, answer me! What does this mean? That thou, dead corpse, revisit the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous, and we, fools of nature, do shake to our disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls. Why is this? Wherefore? What should we do?
It beckons you to go away with it, like some impotent desire you alone. But do not go with it.
It will not speak. I will follow.
Do not, my lord.
Why? I do not set my life at a pin's fee. As for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing as immortal as itself? It calls me still. I will follow.
What if we tempt you toward the flood, my lord? Or to the dreadful summit of the cliff that views over his face into the sea, and the monsoons around the horrible form, with quite a pride of sovereignty of reason in drawing you to madness? Just think of it. The very place which poison desperation without more motive in every brain that looks so many fathoms to the sea and here below beneath.
Its waves be still. Go on! I will follow.
Behold, you shall not go!
My flame flies out and makes every petty artery in his body as hot as the Nemean lion's nerve. Unhand me! By heaven, I'm like a ghost of him who doesn't. Go on! I will follow.
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Heaven will direct it.
Where was thou leading? Speak, I will go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou bound to revenge when thou shalt hear. I am your father's spirit, doomed to walk the night, and for the days confined to fasting fires, till the foul deeds done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. Were I not forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold whose lightest words would harrow up thy very soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres, thy knotted and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand on end like the quills of the fretful porpentine. If thou didst ever thy dear father love,
Oh God!
revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder!
Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange and unnatural.
Well, haste me to know it, so that I, on wings of meditation and thoughts of love, can fly to my revenge.
I find thee apt. Now, Hamlet's ear. 'Tis given out that sleeping in an orchard a serpent stung me. So the whole ear of Denmark is by this forged process of my death rankly abused. For know, thou noble youth, that the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown!
Oh, my prophetic son. My uncle.
That incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wits, with traitorous gifts, won to his sinful lust the feelings of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Anne, what a falling off there from me, whose love was of that dignity that is like hand in hand even with the very vows I gave to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But virtue, as it never will be moved, though lewdness caught it in the shape of heaven, so lust though to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. Sleeping in my orchard, by custom of an afternoon, upon my secure hour, thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hibona in a vial. And in the porches of my ears he did pour this vile distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity upon the blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and swift as quicksilver it blots and curds like evil droppings into milk the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine. Thus was I, by a brother's hand of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off in the very blossoms of my sin, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible, oh, horrible, most horrible. If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch of luxury and of damned incense. But howsoever thou pursuest this task, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to the thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Oh, adieu, adieu, Hamlet! Remember me.
All you hosts of heaven, or earth, what else? Shall I couple hell? Be still my heart, and you sinews grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee! Oh, I, poor ghost, as long as thy memory sits within this distracted globe, remember thee! Yea, from the tables of my memory I will wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all precious past, youth and observation copy there, and thy commandment alone will live in the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Oh, most pernicious woman. Oh, villain, villain, smiling, damned villain. My tables, meet it is, I must set it down, that thou canst smile and be a villain. At least it must be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I have sworn. My lord. My lord. My lord. What news? My lord. Wonderful. Good, my lord. Tell it. No, you reveal it. Not I, my lord, by heaven. Oh, how sayest thou so? where the heart of a man once thinketh. What should we think? Aye, by heaven, my lord. There is a villain dwelling in all of Denmark, but he is an errant knave.
There needs no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
Why, right, thou art in the right. But look you, I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. I'll go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words, my lord.
I'm sorry they offend you, heartily.
There is no offense, my lord.
But there is offense, by St. Patrick, there is, Horatio, and much offense indeed. It is an honest ghost, that let me tell you. But let me have one poor request.
What is, my lord, I will.
Never make it known when you have seen me here tonight.
My lord, I will not.
Nay, but swear.
In faith, my lord, not I.
Upon my soul.
Swear!
Oh, so sayest thou so? LTWB, come, you hear this fellow in the celery? Consent to swear.
I propose the oath, my lord.
Never to speak of what you have seen tonight.
Swear!
Oh, so we'll shift our ground. Come hither. Come hither. So, lay your hand upon my sword, and upon my sword swear never to speak of what you have seen.
Swear upon the sword!
Oh, well settled, mole. Canst thou speak in the air so fast? Come hither.
Oh, day and night, this is but wondrous strange.
Then as a stranger give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. But come, as before, never so help you mercy, that however odd or strange I may bear myself, as I think perchance from herefore to meet, put an antic disposition on, that you, at much time seeing me, with arms encumbered thus, or some head shake, or some doubtful phrase as, well, you know, or, and we could if we would, or, if we list to speak, there be, or if they might, that you know aught of me, swear!
Swear!
Oh, rest, perturbed spirit. With all my love, I commend myself to thee. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right. Come, we'll go together!
Now give him these notes and this money, Ronaldo.
I will, my lord.
You shall do wisely, good Ronaldo, before you visit him to make inquiry of his behavior.
I did intend it, my lord.
Now, first find out what danskers are in Paris, and that they do know my son. Take as you twere some distant knowledge of him, as thus. I know his father and his friends, and in part him. Do you mark me, Ronaldo?
Aye, very well, my lord.
Okay. But if it be he I mean, you would continue. He would be wild, addicted, so-and-so. And there put on him what forgeries you may. Marry, none so bad that may dishonor him.
Oh, as gaming, my lord.
Yes, drinking, fencing, swearing, grabbing, may go so far.
That would dishonor him.
No, Faith, no, because you mark it in the charge. So breathe his faults so faintly that they may seem the taints of liberty, the flash and outbreak of a fiery mind.
But, my good lord.
Where should you do this?
I should know that, my lord.
Marry, sir, here's my drift. Your bait of falsehood has this carp of truth, so that by indirections we find directions out. You have me, have you not?
Aye, my lord, I have.
All right, God by ye. Fare you well.
Good, my lord.
Observe his inclination in yourself,
I shall, my lord.
and let him ply his music.
Well, my lord.
Farewell. How now, Ophelia? What's the matter?
My lord, I am so frightened.
What in the name of God, for what?
My lord, I was sewing in my closet and Lord Hamlet, pale as his shirt and his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous and purport as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors, he comes before me.
Mad for thy love?
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
Well, what's that mean?
Well, he took my wrist and he held me hard, and then goes he to all the length of his arm, and with his other hand over his brow thus, he falls to such a perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so, but that done he let me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, and to the last bended their light on me.
Come, go with me. We must see the king. No. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself and gives the will to desperate undertakings. I am sorry. Did you give him any hard words of late?
No! As you did command, my lord, I did repel his letters and deny his access to me.
That had made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not told him. But we must see the king. This must be known. For if kept closed, may mean more grief to hide than hate to utter love.
Welcome, Rosencrantz, dear Guildenstern. Have you heard of Hamlet's, transformation, so call it? For neither the interior nor the exterior man resembles what it was. What else could it be other than his father's death that has put him so far from an understanding of himself we cannot think of? We beseech you, being of such young days, so neighbor to youth and behavior, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court, and you spend some little time with him, and that you may draw him on to pleasures, and gather so much from occasion may allow what ought to us unknown afflicts him thus, that open lies within our remedy.
Good friends, we have much talked of you, and sure I am, people are not living to whom you are ears.
We both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet.
Thanks, Rosencrantz. Gentle Guildenstern.
Go and take these two to where Hamlet is.
My lord, the ambassador from Norway has joyfully returned.
Oh, well, thou hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? Well, I assure my good liege that I hold my duty as I hold my soul to both my God and to my gracious king. And I do think that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Ooh, speak of that. That I long to hear.
Well, first, please praise the ambassador.
Oh, you do great find her and show her in. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, that he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
I doubt that it is no other but the name, his father's death and our more hasty marriage.
Oh, well, we shall sift him. Welcome, my lady. How does our brother Norway?
Most fair return of greetings and desires. Upon our first, he set out to suppress his nephew's levy, which appeared to be in preparation against the Pole. But, better looked into, it was truly found to be against your majesty. Whereat grief, in sickness, age, and impotence, was falsely born at hand, and sends out arrest on Fortinbras, which he, in brief, obeys, and vows before his uncle
never more to give a sad arms against your majesty.
Whereon old Norway, so overcome with joy,
Gives you 3,000 crowns in annual fee, and commissions his soldiers so levied as before against the Polack. So with the treaty here at further show, may it please you to grant quiet pass through your dominion for this enterprise.
Oh, we like it well. Go now to your rest, and at night we'll feast together.
Well, this business is well finished. My liege and madam, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad, call I it. For to define true madness, what is it? But to be nothing else but mad. What does that mean?
More matter, with less art.
Madam, I assure you, I use no art at all. That he is mad, 'tis true. True, 'tis pity, and pity, 'tis true. A foolish figure. But farewell, I use no art. I have a daughter, while she is mine, who in her obedience and duty hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's a little phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase. But you shall hear. Thus in her excellent white bosom.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while. I will be faithful. Doubt that the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have no art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best, oh, most best. Believe it adieu, thine evermore, most dear lady, while this machine is to him. This, in obedience, hath my daughter given.
Well, how hath she received his love?
Well, what do you think of me?
As a man faithful and honorable?
Well, I would fain prove so. But what might you think had you seen this hot love on the wing? What might you think? Oh, no, I went round to work. To my young mistress I doth bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star. This must not be. And gave her these precepts, that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no presents, and having done so, she took my advice, and he repelled a short time to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence into a watch, thence into a weakness, thence into a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein he now raves, and we all mourn for it.
What think you on this?
It may be very likely.
How may we try it further?
Well, you know, he walks often for hours together here in the lobby. At such time, I'll loose my daughter to him. You and I, behind an arras, will mark the encounter. If he love her not, and has not from his reason fallen thereon, I'll be of no assistance to a state and keep a farm card.
We shall try it.
How goes the Lord Hamlet?
Well, God have mercy.
You know me, Lord.
Excellent well. You are a fishmonger.
No, I'm not.
Then I wish you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
To be honest as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
Oh, that's very true, my lord.
And the son being a kissing carrion. Have you a daughter?
I do, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun, for as she may conceive, conception is a blessing, but friend, look to it.
Strange. With my daughter, he is far gone. What do you read, my lord?
Words. Words. Words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
No, the matter that you read, my lord.
Oh, slanders, sir. For the satirical rogue here says that old men have gray beards, their faces are wrinkled, and have plentiful lack of wit, together with the most weak hams.
Though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Do you go out in the air, my lord?
Into my grave!
Well, that is out in the air. How pregnant sometimes his replies are. A happiness that often madness seeks to. My lord, I most graciously take my leave.
You, sir, could not take anything more from me that I'd be more willingly part with all. Except my life. Except my life. Except my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
Honored Lord!
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends, how do you, Guildenstern? Hello, Rosencrantz. And what brings you from Wittenberg? What's the news?
Not my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Then is doomsday near! But your news is not true. Let me question you more in particular. What have you, my good friends, come by the way of fortune that she brings you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord.
Denmark is a prison.
Why, then the world is one.
Ah, a goodly one, with all of her confines, wards, and dungeons. Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my lord.
Then 'tis none to you, for there is nothing good or bad in this world, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Why, then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
Oh, God! I could be bounded in a nutshell and declare myself king of infinite space! But how about I had bad dreams? But, in the beaten way of friendship, what make you to Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Were you not sent for? Is it of your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything to the purpose. You were sent for, and there's kind of a confession in your looks that your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me. But by the conjuration of our fellowship and the constancy of our youth, be even and direct with me. Were you sent for, or no?
What say you?
Then I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So, my anticipation of your discovery and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my nerves, forgone all custom of exercises. In truth, the heaviness of my disposition, this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me nothing more than a sterile promontory. This excellent canopy, the air, look, you. This majestical roof, this overhanging firmament, fretted with golden fire, seems to be nothing more than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and movement, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. Yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust. Man delights not me. Nor woman either. Yet by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. Yes, we coated them on the way, and hither they are coming to offer you service.
For what the place the king should be welcome. What players are they?
Even those you are wont to take delight in, the tragedians of the city.
And how comes it they travel? Their reputation was better both ways. Do they go rusty?
Nay, their endeavour keeps in the wonted pace, but there is, sir, a small eyrie of children, little eyases that stand atop the question and are most tyrannically clapped for it. Well, these are now the fashion, and so berattle the common stages that those wearing rapiers are afraid of goose quills, and dare scarce come thither.
Is it possible?
Oh, there have been much throwing about of brains.
Do the boys carried away?
Aye, they do, my lord, Hercules and his load too.
It's not so strange. My uncle is the king of Denmark. There is something more than this in natural, if philosophy could find it out.
There are the players.
Aha! You are welcome to Elsinore. You are welcome. But my uncle, father, and mother almost see.
In what, my dear lord?
I am of mad north-northwest. When the wind is northerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Well be with you all.
I prophesy he's going to come in players. Mark it!
Your lordship, I have news. The actors have come hither.
What?
No, on my honor.
Then came each actor upon his ass.
No, these are the finest actors in the world. Be they tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral comical, historical pastoral, comical historical, tragical comic, scene undivided, a poem unlimited. These are the only ones.
Oh, Jephthah, what a treasure had
What treasure had he?
Why, one fair daughter and nothing more. The one he loved passing well.
Again on my daughter.
Isn't that right, old Jephthah?
Well, if you call me Jephthah, I do have a daughter that I love passing well.
Nay, it follows not.
What follows then?
Why, as my lot, God watch. and as you know, so it was, it came to pass. The front row of the pious chancellor will show you more. But look, my abridgment comes. You are welcome, friend. Always good to see you well. We'll into it like French falconers. Well, fly anything we'll see. Come, a speech straight, a passionate speech.
Oh, what speech, my good lord?
I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted, or if it was, never above once, for it pleased not the million. It was caviar to the general, but it was well constructed and well digested in the scene, set down with as much modesty as cunning. One scene in it in particular was Aeneas's tale to Dido, where she spoke of Priam's slaughter. If you live in your memory, let's begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Hydas, like the Hyrcanian beast. No, it begins with Hydas. The rugged Hydas, whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the knight resemble, as he lay couched on his ominous horse, his dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal, head to foot. Now he is total goose, horridly tricked with the blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, and sons, baked and impasted on the parched streets that led a tyrannous and damned light to their lord's murder. So proceed.
Well stated, sire, with good accent and good discretion.
Anon he finds him, striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command. Unequal matched, Pyrrhus at Priam drives, enraged strikes wide, but with the whiff and wind of his fell sword the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming top stoops to his base, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. For lo, his sword, which was declined upon the milky head of Reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. So as a painted tyrant Pyrrhus stood, and as a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. But, as we often see against some storm, a silence in the heavens, the rack stands still, the bold wind speechless, and the orb below as hushed as death. Anon a dreadful thunder doth rend the region, so that after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammers fall on Mars' armor, with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam.
This is too long.
It shall the farmers with your beard.
'Tis well, we'll hear out the rest soon.
Take them in, and let them be well used, for they're the brief and chronicles of our time. I tell you, use every man after his desert, and who shall escape whipping? Huh? Take them in.
I will treat them according to their desert, sire.
God's bodykins, man, much better. Treat them after, and who shall escape whipping? Now take them in. Now, my dear lord, do you know the murder of Gonzaga?
Oh, I know.
We'll have it tomorrow night. You could, for a need, study a speech of a dozen or 16 lines that I would write down instead of it, could you not?
Oh, I, my lord.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Follow that, Lord, and look you, mark him not. I will leave you tonight. You are welcome to Elsinore. Now, I'm alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force her soul to her own conceit, that in all of her working, her visage warm, distraction in her aspect, tears in her eyes, a broken voice, and all of her functions suiting the forms to her own conceit, and all for nothing. For Hecuba? Well, who is Hecuba to her, or she to Hecuba that she should weep for her? What would she do had she the motive and cue for passion that I have? Why, she'd drown the stage with tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. And yet I, a muddy, meddled rascal, must peak like Jonadreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king whose property and dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain? Breaks my pate across, plucks off my beard, blows it in my face, tweaks my nose, and it sends me with a line of the throat that's deep to the lungs. Who does me this? I should take it. Swoons, because it cannot be that I am pigeon
and lack gall, or else I would have fatted all the region's height with this slave offal! Bloody, bawdy villain! Treacherous, lecherous, remorseless, kindless villain of vengeance! What an ass am I? Oh, this is most brave. That I, the father of the son of a dear father killed, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words, and fall cursing like a very drab and scarlet. Fine. Fine.
About my brain!
I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have been struck so to the soul by the very cunning of the scene that they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, it can speak with miraculous order. I will have these players here perform a scene like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I will observe his looks, tempt him to the quick, and if he but blench, I will know my course. This spirit I have seen may be the devil, and the devil have the ability to achieve a pleasing shape, yea. And in my weakness and melancholy, as the devil is potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play is the thing wherein I will catch the conscience of the king.
And can you get from him, by any drift of conference, the reason that he puts on this confusion?
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with crafty madness keeps aloof when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state.
Did you assign him to any pastime?
But madam, it so fell out that certain players were your wrath on the way. These we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it.
Tis most true. He did beseech me to entreat your majesties to see and hear the matter.
With all my heart. Figure to leave us soon. We have closely said for Hamlet that he may hear, for by accident, affront of feeling.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia,
It is my wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness.
madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk ye here and pray. Your grace, behind the arras then, we shall bestow ourselves. It is with pious action and devotion's visage that we sugar o'er the devil himself.
Those too true. Speech doth give a lash to my conscience.
I hear him come. Let's withdraw.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of trouble, and by opposing, end them. To die. To sleep no more. And by sleep, we mean to end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die. To sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there is the rub. For in that sleep of death, after we have shuffled off this mortal coil, what dreams may come must give us pause. There's the calamity of such long a life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, and the insolence of office, and the spurns that the unworthy take when he himself his own quietus might make with a bare bond. For whom would fathers bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that fear of something after death? That undiscovered country whose bourne no traveler returns puzzles the will and makes us bear these ills we have, rather than fly to those we know not of. Thus, conscience makes cowards of us all. And the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought. And the enterprise of great pith and moment with this regard our currents turn awry and lose the name of action. But soft, the fair Ophelia, nymph, in thy risings all my sins remember.
Good my lord, how does your honor on this many a day?
Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have long and longed to redeliver. I pray that you receive them now.
Not I. I never gave you up.
My honored lord, you know right well that you did, and with the words of so sweet breath composed as to make the things more rich. Their perfume lost now, take them again, for to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind.
Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if thou be honest and fair, then your honesty holds no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye. I loved you once.
Indeed, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to another. Why would thou be a breeder of sins? I am myself indifferent honest, but I can accuse me of such things that be better than my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my back than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What would fellows such as I do crawling between heaven and earth? We are errant knaves all. Believe none of us. Get thee to a nunnery. Go. Farewell. Where is your father?
At home, my lord!
Then let the doors be locked upon him, so he can play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell!
Oh, sweet heavens, help him!
And if thou dost marry, I will see this blade like thou. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. Go thy ways to a nunnery. And if you do marry,
slain. So what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There is something in his soul o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt that had to disclose that there will be some danger in it which to prevent. What think you on it?
It might be it. Yet do I believe that the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. Come now, what you need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please. But if you see to it, after the play, let his queen mother all alone urge him to show his grief. If she find not, then send him to England or wherever else you feel he should be.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounce it to you, trippingly on the tongue, for if you mouthers, some of your players do, I'd as lief as the town crier spoke my lines. And do not saw the air thus with your hand, but use all gently. For in the torrent, tempest, and may I say, whirlwind of passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance to give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to hear a periwig-paid fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who, for the most part, are capable of nothing more than inexplicable dumb shows. I will have a player whipped for overdoing Termagant. It's out Herod's Herod. Pray, you will wait.
Oh, I warrant your honor.
But be not too tame either. But let discretion be your tutor. Let the action to the word, and the word to the action, with this one special observance. Overstep not the modesty of nature, for anything so overdone is for the purpose of playing. And to that end, as to the would now, and the is to the was, must set a mirror up to nature. Show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and in that age and body of the time, her form and pressure. Now, this overdone or come tardy on, though it may make the unskillful laugh, will only make the judicious grieve. For in the censure of the which you must, in your allowance, overweigh a whole theater of others. I have seen players that have so strutted and bellowed that I thought some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably.
Well, I do hope we have reformed that indifferently with us, sir.
Oh, reform it altogether. Pray, go make you ready. My lord, will the king hear this piece of work?
Yes, and the queen too, and presently.
Excellent. Go bid the players make haste. And will you help hasten them?
We will, my lord.
What ho! Horatio!
Your sweet lord at your service.
Oh, you are e'en a man that my conversations ever cope withal.
Oh, my dear lord.
Do not think I flatter, for thou that hast only revenue, but that has good looks to feed and clothe thee, why should the poor be flattered? Give me a man who is not passion slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core, in my heart of hearts. Too much of this. There is a play tonight. One scene of it comes close to the matter of what I told you about my father's death.
when thou seest that act afoot, observe mine uncle. If his occulted guilt does not uncannily in one speech, then it is a damned ghost we have seen. Observe him closely, for I mine own eyes will rivet to his face.
Well, my lord, if he steal aught the wildest plays playing in escape detecting, I will pay the theft.
They are coming to the play. I must be idle. Get thee to a place.
How does my cousin Hamlet?
Excellent, Ife! Out of the air, that I eat out of the chameleon's dish. You could not feed capons, so.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
Nor are they mine either. My lord, you once enacted in the university, did you say?
Yes, indeed I did, my lord, and I was accounted a very good actor.
What did you enact?
Well, I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
It was a brute part of him to kill such capital of a calf there. Be the players ready?
Excellent.
Hamlet, come sit by me.
No, good mother, here is metal more attractive.
You see that?
Milady, might I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I meant my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Did you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
That's a fine thing to lie between a maid's legs.
What is it, my lord?
Nothing.
You are married, my lord.
Oh, I?
Aye, my lord.
I am God's only jig maker. What is there to do but be merry? Why, for look how cheerfully my mother looks. And my father been dead just these 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long! What? Then let the devil wear black, and I will have a suit of sables. 2 months dead and not forgotten yet? Then it's quite possible that a memory of a great man may outlive him half a year.
What is this, my lord?
It's Minching Maleko. It means mischief.
Belike the show imports the argument of the play?
For us, and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Is this the prologue or the posy of a ring?
'Tis brief, my lord.
As woman's love.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus caught, gone round Neptune's salt wash, and Telus's orbit round, and 30,000 wounds with borrowed sheen about the world has 12 times 30's been, since love our hearts and hymented our hands unite commutual in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us count o'er ere love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and your former self that I do distrust you. But, though I distrust, discomfort you, my lord, it nothing must. For women's fear and love holds quantity, neither in aught nor in extremity.
Faith, I must leave thee now, and swiftly too. My awkward powers their functions leave to do. And thou must live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and happily one as kind for husband shalt thou have.
Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first.
Wormwood, wormwood.
The instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we oft determine, oft we break. Where joy most revels, grief doth most lament. Grief joys, joy grieves, on slender accident. And 'tis a tale not for us to prove, whether love bring fortune, or else fortune love. So think you will no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first love is dead.
Nor earth to give me food, or heaven light, sport and repose lot for me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope, and anger's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy, meet what I would have well, and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife, if once a widow, ever I be wife.
If she should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn, faith leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep, rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Lady, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, she will keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there any offense in it?
No, no offense in the world. She but jests. Poison in jests.
What do you call this play?
The Mousetrap. Mary, how? This is a visage of a murder done in Vienna. Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? To us, to your majesty, and those of us who have free souls, it touches us not. Oh, I believe this one is Lucianus, the nephew to the king.
You're as good as a chorus, my lord.
Thoughts flat, hands apt, drumsticks in time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seeing. Thou mixture rank of midnight leaves collected, with hecate's band thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life, usurp immediately.
He poisons him in the garden for his estate. You shall see anon how he wins the love of Gonzago's wife.
The king rises!
What? Trying to force fire?
Give order to play! Go! Go!
Give me some light! Away!
The stricken deer go weep, and the heartland all they play, while some must watch and some must weep. So runs the world away! Wouldst thou give me a fellowship and a cry of players, sir?
Half a share.
A whole one! I would give about those words 1,000 pounds did perceive very well, my lord. Come, some music, for the king don't like to play, and he likes it not. Come, some music!
Good, my lord. Vouchsafe me a word with you.
Love, a whole history.
The king, sir,
Good, yes. What about him?
in his retirement marvelous distemper.
With great love?
No, my lord, rather with choler. The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
Then thus she said that your behavior had struck her into amazement and admiration.
Such a wonderful son that can so astonish a mother.
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere she goes to bed.
We would obey were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
As I do still, by these pickers and stealers.
My lord, what is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friends.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Ah, a record. Let me borrow this. Will you play upon this pipe?
Oh, my lord, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I pray.
I have no touch of it, my lord.
Why, it's as easy as lying. You just govern these vintages with your finger and your thumb, give it sweet breath with your mouth, and it will discourse the most excellent music. Look you, here are the stops.
My lord, I have not the skill.
Well, look you now. How unworthy of a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. Yet there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet you cannot make it speak. Do you think I am easier to be played upon than a pipe? God bless you.
My lord, the queen will speak with you in person.
Do you see yonder cloud there shaped like a camel?
By the shape, it's like a camel.
He thinks it is more like a weasel.
All right, it's back like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
Then I will to my mother by and by.
I shall say so.
By and by is easily said. Now leave me, friends. Now is the very witching time of night.
when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes its contagion into the world. Now I could drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look upon. Soft. Now to my mother. My heart and soul in this be hypocrites. I must speak daggers to her, but use none. I must be cruel, not unnatural. And my words, however she be sent to give them seals, never my soul consent.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let this madness range. Therefore prepare you, I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you.
We will ourselves provide.
Arm yourselves to the speedy voyage, I pray you, and put fetters upon the spear which now goes too free-footed.
My lord, he goes to his mother's closet. Now, behind the arras I'll convey myself to hear the process. I'll come to you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
My offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it. Brother's murder. Pray can I not, though my inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. This cursed hand, be it thicker than itself with brother's blood. Is there not rain in the sweet heavens that can wash it as white as snow? But what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned being down? That I'll look up. My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer could serve my turn? Forgive me my most foul murder? Well, that cannot be, for I'm still possessed of the effects for which I did the murder. My pride, mine own ambition, my queen. Can one be pardoned and still retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offenses, guild in hand, may shove by justice. But it is oft too true the wicked prize itself buys out the law. Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? What then? What rests? Help, angels! Make a say! Bow, stubborn knees and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews as the newborn babe. May all be well.
Now might I do it, Pat. Now he's afraid, and now I shall do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so I and know thou a more horrid pit. When he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasures of his bed, or gaming, or swearing, or some other act that have no relish of salvation in it, then trip him, so his heels may kick at heaven, and his soul may be as black as hell, whereto it goes. My mother states, this visit simply prolongs my sickly days.
My words fly up, but my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
He will come straight. Now, look you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with. Tell him your grace has stood between and screened much heat and him. I will silence myself over here. Now, pray, you be round with him.
Mother! 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 What's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come. You answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgotten me?
Oh, by the rude, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and if we're not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then I shall set those to you that can speak.
Oh, no, you shall not go. You will stay, you will not budge until I can set you up a glass where I can see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Oh, thou wilt not murder me!
Run home! Help! Oh, how now? A rat? Dead! For a ducat dead!
Oh! I am slain!
Oh, what hast thou done?
I don't know. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this!
Almost as bloody, dear mother, as to kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my word. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, I took thee for thy better.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue and noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, plucks the tender rose off the forehead of an innocent love, and sets a blister there, calls marriage vows as false as dice oaths.
I mean, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Oh, look you upon this picture, and on this. Look, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. Look at what grace is seated upon thy brow, the front of Jove himself, and I, like Mars, to threaten or command a herald Mercury of the newly lighted on a heaven-kissing hill, and set all the gods assurance of a man. This was your husband. Now look upon this. This is your husband. Like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? It cannot be love, for at your age the blood is tame and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would go from this to this? Oh, shame. Where is thy blush? If thou can't reach on in a matron's bones to flame in you, then let virtue be as wax and melt in her own hellfire.
Hamlet, speak
no more. That turns my eyes to my very soul.
To live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over a nasty sty.
Speak to me no more.
A villain and a murderer.
My daggers enter
A slave is not 20% of the time the oppressed Lord. A clickers of the empire and the rule, and a thief that from the shelf a precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
No more.
Oh, save me. Oh, you wings of angels. What would your gracious face?
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit, in weakest bodies, strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How does it with you, lady?
Alas, what does it with you? That you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse. Whereon do you look?
On him. On him.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
No, nothing at all.
And do you nothing here?
No, nothing but ourselves.
My father, in his habit as he lived. Look now as he steals out the portal.
Oh, this is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy. My pulse doth keep temperate time as yours, and makes healthful music. This is not madness that I have uttered. Put me to the test, and I will the matter reword what madness would gamble for. Confess thyself to heaven for the love of grace. Repent what is past, and avoid what is to come. And do not spread compost on the weeds to make them rankle.
Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Then throw away the worst part of it and live the pure with the other half. Good night, mother. But do not go to my uncle's bed tonight. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Refrain tonight, and that will lend an easiness to the next absence. The next more easy, for use can almost change the stamp of nature, and out enlarge the devil while throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night. And if thou ever desirest to be blessed, a blessing I will beg. For this same Lord I do repent, but heaven has pleased it so to punish me with him, and him with me to be their scourge and minister. I must be cruel, if only to be kind. Thus, bad begins, and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this, by any means I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and for a pair of reachy kisses and paddling on your neck with his damn fingers, make you ravel all this matter out. For I am not in madness, but mad in craft.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe, but thou hast said to me.
I am to England. You know that.
I have forgot to so concluded on.
There's letters sealed, and my 2 schoolfellows, who I will trust as adders fanged, they bear the mandate. They will fly and marshal me to knavery. Let it work. For it is sport to see the engineer hoist with his own petard. And it will go hard. I will delve 1 yard below their minds and blow them to the moon. It is sweet when in one line 2 crafts directly meet. This man shall send me packing. I will lug the guts into the neighbor room. He is most secret, most still, and most grave that ever was a foolish, prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
There's matter in these sighs. These profound heaves you must translate, 'tis fit. We understand them. Where is your son?
Bestow this place on us for a while.
Now, Gertrude, how does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea wind when both contend which is mine here. In his lawless fit he cries a wrath, and kills the unseen good old man.
Indeed. It would have been the same with us had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all. To us, to yourself, to everyone. Well, how should this bloody deed be answered? What shall fall to us whose providence should have kept short, restrained, out of haunt this mad young man? So much was our luck that we did not know what was most fit. Where has he gone?
To draw apart the body he hath killed. He weeps for what is done.
Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch. We shall ship him hence, and we shall use all of our majesty and skill, both countenance and excuse. Oh, Guildenstern, friends both, go join you with some further aid. Hamlet, in madness, hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged the body. Go seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. Gertrude, we shall call up our wisest friends and tell them what we mean to do, and what's untimely done. Come away. My soul is full of discord and despair.
Safely stowed. It's off, 2 goals, Hamlet. Oh, here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust, whereto 'tis king.
You must tell us where it is, and go with us that we may bear it thence to the chapel.
Don't you believe it?
Believe what?
That I could keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of by a sponge? What replication is to be expected from the son of a king?
Take you me for a sponge? sponge, my lord.
Ah, soaking up all the king's countenances, his rewards, his authorities.
I understand you not, my lord.
I am glad of it. 'Tis a knavish beast that sleeps in a foolish ear.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is and go with us to the king.
The king is not with the body, but the body is with the king. The king is a thing.
Thing, my lord.
Of nothing. Take me to him. High five for the laughter!
I am sent to seek him and to find the body. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose? We cannot put the strong law on him, for he is beloved of the distracted multitude, who not in their judgment, but in their eye. How now would happen to follow?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot wait for him.
And where is Hamlet?
Without, my lord, to know your pleasure, guard.
Bring him before us.
Ho, Guildenstern, bring in, my lord.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper. Where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are eaten at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat creatures to fat us, and then we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar are but for variable service. 2 dishes, 1 table, that's the end.
Alas.
A man may fish with a worm that eat the king, and then eat that fish and feather that worm.
What does thou mean by this?
Nothing. Only to show you how a king can go progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven. Send your messengers there to see, and if they find him not there, look for him in the other place yourself. For if you not find him, say, within a month, you will nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go and seek him there.
He will stay till you come.
Hamlet, this deed of thine, which we do as we duly tender that which thou hast done, which we duly grieve, must ship thee hence, and with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is at ready, the wind is at help, the associates tend, and everything bent for England.
For England?
Aye.
Good!
It is so if thou knewest our purpose.
Oh, I see a cherub that sees them. So, for England, farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. So, mother and father are man and wife are but one flesh, and so, my mother. To England! Long live our gracious queen, long live our royal queen, God save our queen.
Follow him at foot, delay it not. Follow him at foot, delay it not. I will have him hence tonight.
Go, go, go. Go.
And England, if my love holdeth soft, and my great power doth give thee sense, thou wilt not set our sovereign process which imports it full. By letters congruing to that effect, the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England, till I know 'tis done, till then my joys were ne'er begun.
Go, Captain. From me, greet the Danish king. Tell him that, by his license, Fortinbras claims the conveyance for promised march over his kingdom. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would aught with us, tell him that we shall meet our duty in his eye, and let him know so.
I'll do, my lord.
Good sir, whose powers are these?
They're of Norway, my lord.
How purpose, sir, I pray you?
Against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
The nephew of Norway, Fortinbras.
And do they go against the main of Poland or some other frontier?
We go to gain a little piece of ground that hath in it no profit with the name. To pay 5 ducats for it. 5. I wouldn't farm it.
Huh. Well, surely the Poland will not defend it.
Yes, it is already garrisoned.
2,000 men and 20,000 ducats would not debate the importance of this straw. I humbly thank you.
Bye-bye, sir.
Huh. How all occasions do inform against me, and spur me to my dull revenge. What is a man, if the chief good and market of his time is but to sleep and feed? A beast, no more. And sure that he gave us such large discourse looking before and after, did not give us such capability and godlike reason to fasten us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion, or some other craven scruple of thinking on the subject, a thought which quartered hath but one part wisdom, and ever 3 parts cowardice. I do not know why yet I live to say this thing is to do, when I have the cause, and will, and the strength, and the means to do it. Examples gross as earth do exhort. Witness this army of such mass in charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit and divine ambition puffed makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure, that danger, death, and fortune dare even for an eggshell. Rightly to be great is not to stir without great argument, but to greatly find importance in a straw when honor is at the stake. How stand I then, with a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep? Yet to my shame I see the imminent deaths of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot, where our numbers cannot try the cause. And it is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slave. From this day forth, my thoughts be bloody. Or be nothing worth.
will not speak with her.
She's important, indeed distraught. Her mood will need to be pitied.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father. Says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws. Her speech is nothing. Indeed would make one think there might be thought, though nothing sure yet much happen.
'Twere good she were spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in unreading minds. Let her come in. My sick soul sin's true nature is. Each story seems prologue to some great amiss. So full of artless jealousy is guilt, it spills itself, fearing to be spilt.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How now, Ophelia?
How should I my true love know from another one? By his copper hat and staff, and his sandal shell.
Alas, pretty lady, what imports this song?
Say you? Nay, pray you mark. He's dead and gone, lady, he's dead and gone. At his head is a green grass turf, at his heels a stone.
Nay, but Ophelia.
Pray you mark! White and shroud is the mountain snow.
Alas, look here, my lord.
Lauded with all sweet flowers, which be wept to his grave did not go in true love showers.
How do, pretty lady?
God yield you. They say that the owl is the baker's daughter, and Lord, we know what we are, but not what we may be. God be at your table.
I can see it on my father.
Hey! Let's have no more talk of that. But when they ask you what it means, tell them this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, and all the morning betine, and I am made at your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose and donned his clothes, and up the chamber door. Let in the maid and out the maid, never departed more.
Pretty Ophelia.
Is he locked? Without an oath I'll make an end on it. By gifts and by St. Charity, alack and fie for shame. Young men will do it if they come to it, by cock they are to blame. Quoth she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. He answered, so I would have done by yonder sun, had thou not gone with me to bed.
How long has she been thus?
You all must be patient. But I cannot choose but weep to think that they lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it! And so I thank your good counsel. Come, my coaches! Good night, sweet lady. Good night, sweet lady. Good night. Good night.
Follow her close and give her good watch, I pray you. This is the poison of deep grief. It springs from her father's death. Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not in single spies, but in battalions. First, her father slain, next your son is gone, and he the most violent author of his own just remove. The people muddied, thick and unwholesome in their thoughts, and they whisper of good Polonius' death, which we have but greenly in hugger-mugger to inter him. And now Ophelia, divided from herself and from her fair judgment, her brother is in secret come from France. He He feeds on his wonder and keeps his head in clouds. He wants not buzzers to infect his ear with pestilent speeches of his father's death, which we have our ear in ear to give us superfluous death.
Save yourself, my lord! Young Laertes in a riotous head obeys your officers. The rabble call him lord. They cry, "Choose we, Laertes will be king."
How cheerfully on the false trail they cry. Oh, this is counter! You false Danish dogs!
Thou vile king, where is my father?
Come, good Laertes.
Laertes, why is it that thy rebellion looks so giant? Let him go, Gertrude, do not fear for our person. What is it, Laertes? Why out there less than sense? Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? And I'll not be juggled with. Let what comes come. Only I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father's death.
We shall stay.
My will, not all the world.
If thou desire to know the circumstances of thy dear father's death, it is writ in your revenge. But that soothsay shall draw both friend and foe, winner and loser.
None but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
To his good friends, thus wide I'll ope my arms, and like the kind life-rendering pelican repass them with my blood.
Now you speak of a good child and a true gentleman. Know that I am guiltless of your father's death and am in most sensible grief for it. Know this as the day does level judgment to your eye.
How? What noise is this? Oh, heat, dry up my brains. Tears 7 times salt burn out thy sense in virtue of mine eyes. Oh, by heavens, thy madness shall be paid by weight, till our scale turn to beams. Oh, Rose of May, dear maid, sweet sister, kind Ophelia. Oh, by heavens, 'tis possible that a young maid's wits be as mortal as an old man's life.
They bore him barefaced in the bier. Hey, nonny, nonny, hey. And in his grave rained many a tear. Well, very well, my dove. You must sing a down, a down, a down, a down. And you must sing, come him a down. Oh, how the wheel becomes it. It is a false steward that stole the master's daughter. And here's Rosemary. That's for thoughts. Oh, pray you love remember. And here's pansies, and that's for thoughts. And here's fennel, and columbine, and here's rue for you, and some for me. We may call it an herb of grace Sundays. You must wear your rue with a difference. There is a daisy. I would have brought violets, but they all withered up when my father died. They say he made a good end. Bonnie, sweet robin, don't let my joy.
Thoughts, afflictions, passion, hell itself. And here, she turns to favors, prettiness.
And will he not come again? And will he not come again? No, no, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed. He will never come again. His beard was as white as snow, all flaxen was his poll. He is gone, cast away moan. God have mercy on his soul.
And of all Christian souls, I pray God, God be with you.
Do you see this? Oh, God.
Good Leander, I must commune your grief, or you deny me right, and choose your wisest friends who you will, and they shall judge twixt you and me. And if they find me touched, then we our entire kingdom shall give up, our crown, our life, all that we call ours, to you, in satisfaction. But be you content to lend your patience to us, we shall labor jointly with your soul to give it due content.
Let it be so. My father's means of death, his most obscure funeral, cry to be heard that I must call to question.
You shall be so, and where the offense is, let the great axe fall.
Horatio, when thou shalt have overlooked this, ensure these letters find their way to the king. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate of very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple I boarded them. On the instant they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy, but they knew what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ear that will make thee dumb, yet are much too light for the bore of the matter. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell. He that thou knowest thine, Hamlet.
Now have conscience my acquaintance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend. Since you have with a knowing ear that he who has slain your father pursued my life.
Well, it seems. Tell me why you proceeded not against these feats.
The queen his mother. She lives almost by his looks, and be it my virtue or my plague, be it either which. She's so conjuncted to my life and soul, that the star moves but not with his fear, I could not but by her. The other motive is the great love the general gender bear, who dipping all his faults in their affections, be like spring that turneth wood to stone. Convert his gyves to graces, so that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, revert to my bow again.
And so I have a father lost, a sister driven to desperate terms. And yet my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that, and surely shall hear more. I loved your father. How now, what news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. One for your majesty, and one for the queen.
Who sent them?
Sailors, my lord. They said, I saw them not.
Stay, you shall hear these. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked upon your kingdom. Tomorrow I shall beg leave to see your kingly eyes. When I shall, finding your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return, Hamlet.
Know you the hand?
'Tis Hamlet's character.
Let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell it to his teeth. Thus didst thou.
If it be so, how should it be so? How otherwise? Would you be ruled by me?
Aye, my lord, so long as you may not rule me to a peace.
To thine own peace. I shall work him to an exploit now right in my device, whereupon he shall not choose but fall, and with his death no wind of blame shall breathe, and even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident.
I shall be ruled, but rather that you may devise it that I may be the instrument.
Fall's right. You haven't spoke of in your travels much, and within Hamlet's hearing. For they say there's a quality in which you shine. That, sir, did Hamlet so invent, that he wanted nothing but to come over and play with you.
What part is that, my lord?
For your rapier most especially. Laertes, was your father dear to you, or are you like a painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Not that I think that you did not love your father, but I know that love is begun by time. And love qualifies the spark and fire. Hamlet comes back. What shall you do to prove yourself your father's son, indeed more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church.
Hamlet returns shall know you are come home, and we shall put those that praise your excellence and put a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave. We shall bring you in fine together, and put a wager on your heads. Hamlet, being remiss, free from all contriving, shall not peruse the foils. So that way, with a little ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited. And then, within a pass of practice, you may requite him for your father.
I'll do it. For that purpose, I shall anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank, so mortal that but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare, collected from all the simples under the moon, shall save the thing from death that is cut withal. I shall take my point, dip it in my contagion, so that I may gall him slightly. It may mean death.
Let's think further on this. We shall make a wager. I have it. When in motion you are hot and dry, and make your bouts more violent to that end. And then he calls for a drink. And I'll have prepared a chalice for the nuns, whereupon but sipping, if he escapes your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there. How now, sweet queen?
One woe, daughter, fall upon another's heels, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Where?
There is a willow grows aslant the brook that shows its hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There, with fantastic garlands, did she come of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples. There on the pendant boughs are coronet weeds clamoring to hang. An envious sliver broke, and down her weedy trophies and herself fell into the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide and mermaid-like, whilst they kept her afloat, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, till her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Too much water hast thou taken, poor Ophelia. Therefore I forbid my tears. For nature, her custom holds, that is our trick. Let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, that this folly doubts it.
So much I had to do to calm his rage. Now I fear that this shall give it start.
Is she to be buried in Christian burial, she that so willingly seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, and therefore make her grave straight. The crowner has sat on it and finds it Christian burial.
But how can that be? Unless she went and drowned herself in her own defense.
Why, 'tis found so.
Mark you this. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. Now, if the man goes to the water and drowns himself, it is really nearly he that goes. Mark you that. Now, if the water goes to the man and drowns him, he drowns not himself. And he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
I marry.
Will you have the truth on it? If this had not been a gentle woman, she should have been buried out of Christian burial.
Cudgel thy brain no more about it. Go, get thee in and get me a stoop of liquor. In youth when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract good time for my behalf. Methought there was nothing amiss.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave making?
Custom hath made it in a property of easiness.
But then death with his steel steps hath caught me in his clutch and has sent me unto the land as if I'd never been such.
That skull once had a tongue in it. could sing. Now how the knave jowls it to the ground. This might be the pate of a politician, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or maybe that of a courtier. How dost thou, good lord?
Oh, how do you, good lord?
Maybe this was Lord such and such who praised Lord such and such's horse when he might to beg it. Thinkst thou?
Aye, my lord.
A pickaxe and a spade, oh, and a shroud and sheet, a pit and clay for to be made, for such a day, please, for such a guest is, for such a guest is meet.
And there's another one. This might be the skull of a lawyer. Where be his quittities now, his quillets, his cases, and his tenures, and his tricks? Why does he suffer this rude knave to beat him upside the head with a shovel, and not inform him of his battery? Is this to be the fine of his fines? His recovery of his recoveries, to have his pate full of fine dirt? I shall talk to this. Excuse me, sir. Whose grave is this?
Mine, sir.
Well, I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
Well, thou liest out of it, and therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine.
Ah, but thou dost lie in it, to be in it, and say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick.
Ah, but 'tis a quick lie, sir. We'll go again from me to you.
Who does thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
Well, what woman, then?
For none, neither.
Well, then, for who do you dig it?
For one that once was a woman, sir, but now, God rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Huh?
How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Well, I came to it the very year that our first King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Dost thou not know that? Why, everyone knows that. It was the year that our young Prince Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent to England.
Why was he sent to England?
Because he's mad. Oh, but he will recover there. And if he do not, it's no great matter neither.
Why?
Why, it won't be noticed there. There the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
By losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, upon this ground, in Denmark.
How long will a man lie on the earth ere he rot?
Well, if a man be not rotten when he die, he will last some 8 year or 9 year. A tanner, he will last you 9 year. His hide is so tanned from his trade, why, he will keep out water for a good long while. And you know, water is the great whoreson of the dead body. Yeah. Ooh. You see this skull? This skull has lain in the earth some 23 years.
Whose was it?
Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue? Why, do you know that he once poured a flagon of relish on my head? This skull? That skull was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
Let me see them. Alas, poor York. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest. He must have borne me on his back 1,000 times. Here hung those lips I kissed I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols and your songs and your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on the roar. Not one now to mock your own grinning. Tell your lady that she must paint an inch thick. Make her laugh at that. Tell me one thing, Horatio.
What's that, my lord?
Do you think Alexander looked at his fashion in the earth?
In so, my lord.
Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might patch a wall to keep the wind away. And that earth that once held the world in awe, now stop a wall to expel winter's flaw. Soft. Here comes the king. Couch me a while, come on.
What ceremony else?
That is Laertes, a very noble youth. Mark.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranties. Her death was doubtful, and but that great commandor sways the order she should in ground unsanctified have lodged till the last trumpet, for charitable prayers.
Is there nothing more to be done?
We should profane the service of the dead to sing a requiem and such rest to her as to peace-parted souls.
You shall lay her in the earth, that from her unpolluted flesh may violence spring. I tell you this, churlish priest, ministering angel my sister shall be, but thou liest howling.
What? A fair Ophelia.
Sweets to the sweet. Farewell. I hope thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bridesbed to have decked sweet maid, not have strewed thy grave.
Oh, treble woe. Oh, 10 times treble upon thy cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms.
Who is this whose grief bears such an emphasis? It is I, Hamlet the Dane.
The devil take thy soul!
What them asunder! Hamlet! Hamlet!
I love the field! 40,000 brothers all alone tonight! Make up my son! What was our difference?
Oh, these mad Laertes, for the love of God, forbear him.
What was our difference? Would we? Would fight? Would drink a bison? I'll do it! And you seek out face me by leaping into a grave? I can reign as well as thou!
This is mere madness.
How say you, sir? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and the dog will have its day.
Strengthen yourself and lack my speech. Gertrude, go and set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience our proceedings be.
So much for this. Now you shall see the other. You remember the circumstance? Remember it, my lord. In my mind, there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Our indiscretions sometimes do a service when our deep plots do pall. And this teaches us that there's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will. That is most certain. Up from my cabin, my sea scarf scarfed about me, I groped in the dark to find out that I had my desire. I fingered their packet, and in fine, withdrew to my own cabin again. My fears forgetting manners, I unsealed their grand commission, where I found Horatio. Oh, royal knavery. An exact command, allotting several sorts of reasons, including Denmark's health, and England's too. and with such bugs and goblins in my life, unsupervised, not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head was to be struck off.
It's possible.
Thus, being benetted around with villainies, I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. I once had the baseness to write fair, as our status do, and I labored much to forget that learning, but here it did me a yeoman's service. Would you like to know what I wrote?
Aye, good my lord.
An earnest convocation from the king, that home of you, and the knowing of these contents, that they were the bearers to be put to sudden death. No shriving time allowed. And the next day was our sea fight, and to what that was sequenced, thou knowest already.
So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it?
They did make love disappointment. They are not near my conscience.
Why, what a king is this?
Oh. How stand we now upon he that killed my father, whored my mother, came in between the election and my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life? Is it not conscience to quit him with this arm?
It must be shortly known to him from England what is the issue of the business there.
It will be short. But the interim is mine.
Peace. Who comes here?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Do you know this waterfly?
No, my good lord.
Thy state is the more gracious. It's a vice to know him. He has much land and fertile, but he's a chuff. But as I say, spacious in the way of dirt.
Lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I humbly receive it, sir. But, your bonnet, please put it to its proper use. Just for the head.
I thank you, lordship, but it is very...
Oh, I think it is very cold, for the wind is northerly.
Let me help you.
It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
Oh, but I think it is very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord, it is very sultry, where I cannot tell how. But my lord, your majesty bade me signify to you he's laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter.
Oh, your bonnet, I beseech you. Remember.
Yea, good my lord, for mine ease and good faith. Sir, here is newly come to court Laertes, believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society with great showing. Indeed, to speak feelingly of him, he is the card and calendar of gentry, for you shall find in him the continent of what part a gentleman would see.
Sir, his refinement suffers no perdition in you.
Your majesty speaks most infallibly of him. You are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is, I mean, sir, for his weapon. But in the imputation laid on him by them, in his meed he is unfellowed.
Well, what's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger.
Well, that's two of his weapons.
The king, sir, oh, the king, hath wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, against the which he has informed, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, with their assigns as girdle, hangers, and so on. 3 of these carriages, in faith, are very dear to fancy, very responsive to the hilt, most delicate carriages in a very liberal conceit. The king, sir,
I would walk in the hallways if it would please His Majesty. 'Tis the breathing time of day with me.
But the gentleman willing and the king hold his purpose. I will win for him if I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame in the odd hits.
I commend my deed to your lordship.
Yours. Yours.
You will lose its wages.
I do not think so. Since he has gone to France, I have been in continuous practice. But thou wouldst not know how ill's all within my heart. It is no matter.
Nay,
Good Lord. No, it is a kind of gain-giving that will trouble a woman.
if your mind is like anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair here and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There is special providence in the fall of a servant. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it is not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. If a man have aught of what he leaves, what is it if he leave the time? Let be.
Hamlet, come. Take this hand from mine.
I beg your pardon, sir, and I ask that you pardon it as you are a gentleman. This presence knows that I have been punished by a sore distraction. What I have done, I hereby proclaim was madness. Does Hamlet wrong Laertes? No, never have. Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Hamlet is of the faction that is wronged. But in this audience, I ask that you free me, for I have shot an arrow over my house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied with nature, whose motive, in my case, should stir me most to my revenge. But in terms of mine honor, I stand aloof and will no reconciliation until by some elder masters of known honor I am a voice and precedent of peace, that my name may be adored. But until that time, I accept thy offer of love like a love and will not want it.
I embrace it freely. And will my brothers wager frankly play? Come, bring the foils.
Aye, come, one for me as well.
Oh, I'll be your foil, Laertes, in mine ignorance, for your skill, like a shining star in the darkness, shall strike fiery off indeed.
You mock me, sir.
Oh, by this hand. No.
Young officer, bring the foils. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager.
I do, my lord. I believe you've laid the wager on the weaker side.
I do not fear it. We have seen you both, and since he is better, we have therefore odds.
This one is too heavy. I require another.
This one suits me well. These are all the length.
Aye, my lord.
Set the scoops of wine upon the table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnance fire, and the king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath. And in the cup a union shall he throw, richer than 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Give me the cup. The kettle to the trumpet sound, the trumpet to the cannoneers without, the cannons to the heavens to the earth, and the king drinks to heaven. Come, judges, and bear a wary eye.
Come, sir. One.
No.
Judgment.
A hit. A very palpable hit.
Come again, then.
No, stay. Give me the cup. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's Sahel. Give him the cup.
No, I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Oh, another hit! What say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Our son shall win.
He is scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my nephew and drop thy brow.
Oh, good mother.
The queen blouses to thy good fortune.
Gertrude! Do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray thee, pardon me.
His poison cup is too late.
No, I will not drink yet. Set it by and by.
Come, let me wipe your face.
I shall hit him now, sir.
I do not think it.
Yet it is almost against my conscience.
Come to the third, Laertes. You do but dally. But I pray you, pass with your best violence. I pray you make a wanton of me.
So say you. Come then.
Nothing, neither way.
How about you?
They bleed on both sides. How is it, my lord?
How is Laertes?
Like a woodcock's to my spring ostrich. Oh, I am justly killed by my own treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
The drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet, the drink. I'm poisoned.
Treachery! Sing it out! Let the door be locked!
Hamlet! Hamlet! It is here, Hamlet, the heart slain. In thee, there is but half an hour of life left. No medicine in the world can do thee good. Thy treacherous instrument was in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. Now that foul practice has turned itself upon me. The king is to blame.
What did venom do? Venom to my wife! Take off my cushion. Follow my mother.
He is justly killed, for it is a poison tempered by himself. Hamlet, good Hamlet, exchange forgiveness with me. My father's life and mine are not on thee, nor is thy life on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. I am dead, Horatio. Adieu, wretched queen. You that look pale and tremble at this chance are but mute and an audience to the sight. Had I but time, I can tell thee, Horatio, I die, thou livest. Report me and my cause, a right to be unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more an antique Roman than a Dane. Look. No, here is yet some liquor left. Give me the cup. No, by heaven, I will have it.
Horatio, what a wounded name. Things standing thus unknown now live behind me. If thou ever did hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity for a while, and never in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
Young Fortinbras, in conquest, come from Poland with this warlike volley.
Horatio, I am dead. I will not live to hear the news from England, but I prophesy the election lights will fall on Fortinbras. So tell him the occurrence, more or less, which have solicited. The rest is silence.
Now cracks noble heart. Good night to you, Prince. Flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does this drum come hither?
Where is this sight?
What is it ye would see? With ardor, woe and wonder, cease your search.
This quarry cries on havoc. O death, what feast is toward in thine eternal self, that thou so many princes at a shot so bloodily hast struck?
Give order that these bodies high in the stage be placed to the view. And let me speak to the yet unknown world how these things came about. So shall you hear carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause. And in this upshot, purposes mistook and fallen on their inventors' heads.
Let us haste to hear it. Call the noblest to the audience. For me, with sorrow, I accept my poor fortune. Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss.
but if you'll permit me 30 seconds afterward. We are just like you all week. We teach kids and care for the sick and do tech support and all the other things that people do. But this Friday night, at the end of a long week, this fantastic group of people came to wrestle this beast, red in tooth and claw, to the ground. And I'm so grateful to them. And I'm so grateful to you for coming at the end of a long week and sharing it with us. Thank you.